All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah Quitash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth and who rule well in this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel that is scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace and mercy unto you. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are for sure and are for certain the true Hebrew Israelites that the Bible speaks of. You are the true chosen people of the Bible. All right, so I have this video here, all right, that I had taken off the internet. All right, and it goes into the RS-28 Sarmat missile, all right, which is the most advanced and the most powerful nuclear weapon on this planet Earth, and it belongs to Russia. All right, now that's the spirit of the Lord that has it set up like that, that Russia has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world and the most powerful nuclear weapon in the world, which is the RS-28 Sarmat, also known as Satan 2. And in this video I'm about to play is going to get into that. All right, now you just recently had the Russians, they had successfully tested the RS-28 Sarmat missile, man. All right, also known as Satan 2, the most powerful nuclear weapon on this earth. All right, and since they have successfully tested it, all right, Vladimir Putin, all right, has intentions to deploy it for combat duty by the end of 2026, man. All right, which is right around the corner. 6 months it's going to feel like a few seconds, man. All right, now in the Bible, the number 7 represents completion. Right? And next year, it's 2027. Right? So it just might be, the end of Esau, Edom's age next year. Next year just might be when those nuclear missiles fly. Because he has intentions to deploy it for combat duty by the end of 2026, he aims. All right? But, let me play this video. All right, and we'll get into it, man. So give me a second real quick, all right?
This missile called Sarmat, or Satan 2, is the most advanced nuclear missile in the world. Its warheads are impossible to intercept.
You heard him? The most advanced nuclear missile in the world, and it belongs to Russia, man. All right, because it is biblical prophecy, all right, that Russia is going to nuke the hell out this place, man. All right, so that's why Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, gave Russia the most powerful nuclear weapons, the most advanced nuclear weapon, and the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. All right, so matter of fact, let's read Jeremiah 50. All right, because Jeremiah 50 goes into it, man. All right. Jeremiah 50. All right. So it says at the top, you can see Jeremiah 50, prophecy against Babylon. All right. That Babylon is talking about America. All right. There's a prophecy against this place. All right. Which is for America to be destroyed, completely eradicated and obliterated off the face of this earth by being completely engulfed and shrouded in nuclear destruction. Do you understand? All right, so let's read it. It says, verse 1, Jeremiah 50:1, it says, the word of Yahweh, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans, all right, by Jeremiah the prophet, all right? So that Babylon is talking about America. and against the land of the Chaldeans, which is America. And the Chaldeans, you know, were the ancient wise men of ancient Babylon, which today would be considered your elites, man. You know? So it says, verse 2, declare ye among the nations and publish. All right, so we're supposed to make this known. We're supposed to publish and prophesy and make known that America's going to be destroyed. All right, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Yeah, we don't hide this, man. We openly and boldly tell you that America's going to be destroyed. All right, in front of all the nations, man. And especially in front of Esau, Edom, man. All right. So it says, publish and conceal not, say Babylon is taken. Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Yeah, because these are ancient gods that used to be worshipped in Babylon, man. In ancient Babylon. And then you got these same type of gods, all right, being worshipped here in modern day Babylon today. Right? And then when you go into Isaiah, the 19th chapter, which also talks about America being destroyed, right? But in that chapter, America is known as Egypt. It says that the idols of Egypt shall be confounded. So all these false gods and false idols these people worship, they all gonna be confounded and destroyed, man. Meaning, you know, the people are gonna realize that they have been worshiping false gods and false idols this whole time. When they call upon it, when Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai brings hell and chaos and misery and pain and suffering upon this place, man. They're going to know that a higher power is doing it, man. And when they call upon their gods to be saved, they're not going to get an answer and they're going to be destroyed. You know? So it says, Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. All right, this is the point. Verse 3, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her. All right, that nation that cometh up against America out of the north is Russia. It's talking about Russia, man. All right, so there's a nation that cometh up against Babylon. All right, Babylon being America, and that nation that's going to come up against her is Russia, man. Right? Verse 3, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate. That's where you get the word desert from. All right, so this land, America, is going to become a desert by the way of nuclear destruction in this third world war. With the RS-28 Sarmat missile. You know, which is the most powerful nuclear weapon on this earth. We're gonna get into it when we finish watching the rest of the video, man. All right. So it says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which that's Russia, coming up against America, Babylon, right? Which shall make her land desolate, make her land a desert, right? And none shall dwell therein. Yeah, because when America's destroyed, all right, this place is gonna be a desert forever. It's gonna be a wasteland forever, and it's never going to be inhabited ever again. All right, you can read that also in other chapters of the Bible. All right, Isaiah 13, right? Also Jeremiah 49, right? Revelation 18, right? So it says, none shall dwell therein, they shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast. Yeah, because this place is going to be completely eradicated, man. Right? But then when you go, let me just jump down to verse 9, right? All right. It says, for lo, I will raise up. Excuse me, it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, which is America, an assembly of great nations from the north country, which is Russia and all of Russia's allies. All right, an assembly of great nations, all right, which represents Russia and Russia's allies. Shoot, even America's allies are going to shoot missiles over here, because America's allies, according to biblical prophecy, are also going to turn against America and destroy this place too. All right. So it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north, and they shall set themselves in array against her. Woo! All right. From thence she shall be taken. Woo! It says their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Yeah, those arrows are talking about the ICBM missiles that carry multiple nuclear warheads. All right. Because when they flying in the sky, they look like arrows being shot off. Right. But let's go back to this video. All right. Let's go back to the video. Right.
This missile, called Sarmat or Satan II, is the most advanced nuclear missile in the world.
Yeah, and it's a Russian missile. Right? And we just read that, you know, the main ones that's going to destroy America is Russia. You know? They're going to put an end to this place, man. You read that all throughout the scripts. Right?
Its warheads are impossible to intercept.
You see that? Its warheads are impossible to intercept. Right? Because they're flying at about, this missile flies about 11,000 to 15,000 miles per hour. No defense missile system can intercept that or deflect that. That's why when you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, all right, Israel and America is known as what? The land of unwalled villages. A land that is unwalled, or a land without walls, is a land without protection. And that's what America and Israel is known as in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, a land of unwalled villages, because there's nothing that's going to protect this place from these nuclear missiles hitting. And that's how the Lord got it, man. That's how the Lord set it up that way, to fulfill his word, to fulfill prophecy, which is what the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying. The downfall and the destruction, all right, of America being completely eradicated and obliterated off the face of this earth by nuclear fire in this third world war. Right?
The fact is that this missile, called Sarmat or Satan II, is the most advanced nuclear missile in the world. Its warheads are impossible to intercept. The fact is that this is the first missile in the world that can strike the territory of a probable enemy through the South Pole. For NATO and Canada, this was an unpleasant surprise. The main missile defense force, the NORAD system, is designed to intercept missiles that are launched through the North Pole. On the southern side, the U.S. has no warning systems or missile defense.
Yeah, this ICBM missile, all right, this nuclear missile, right, it has a global reach. All right, when you do further research, it has a global reach. All right, reaching anywhere on this planet Earth within 15 minutes or less. All right, because it's flying at 11,000 miles an hour, man. All right, and I did further research before I came out here. I can't show you now because I don't have Wi-Fi right where I am right now. But it says up to 15,000 miles an hour. Right? Up to 15,000 miles an hour. There's no defense missile system that's intercepting that, man. And not only at one time it lets off 11 to 19 nuclear missiles, man. Come on, man. Right?
Defense systems. Therefore, U.S. satellites can detect a Sarmat launch, calculate its trajectory, but will not be able to defend themselves.
You see? Will not be able to defend themselves. The land of unwalled villages. Come on, man. Right?
Some of the missiles are based at a missile range in the Kaluga region. These are the so-called nuclear glades. According to the tests conducted, the time of approach of the missile to London will be about 8 minutes, to New York, about 20 minutes.
Only 20 minutes. It's only going to take 20 minutes, man. You see?
The range of firing Sarmat is 18,000 kilometers, or more than 11,000 miles. This is enough to fly around the planet 1.5 times.
You see? Come on, man. It has a global reach. Is able to fly around the planet 1.5 times. It has a global reach, reaching anywhere in this earth. All right. You know, like it said 20 minutes, but before, I did, other research, it said 15 minutes or less, man. You know? Come on, man.
Maximum speed in the atmosphere is 17,982 kilometers per hour, or more.
Hold on.
The range of firing Sarmat is 18,000 kilometers, or more than 11,000 miles. This is enough to fly around the planet 1.5 times. The maximum speed in the atmosphere is 17,982 kilometers per hour, or more than 11,000 miles.
Woo!
The exact number of warheads is classified.
I told you 11,000 miles an hour, bro. 11,000 miles an hour. That's the spirit of the Lord to fulfill prophecy. The land of unwalled villages, man.
Miles. The exact number of warheads is classified, but there is information that the missile can carry on board up to 15 warheads with a power of 750 KT each.
Woo! Up to 15 warheads with 750 kilotons of TNT each warhead. That's what's going to hit America, man. And I believe that they have more powerful nuclear weapons than this. This is just what's known, according to intelligence, man. All right, because in the 60s, man, Russia, all right, detonated the most powerful nuclear bomb ever detonated on this earth was known as the Tsar Bomba, which is also a Russian bomb. Right? It was detonated in the 60s and it yielded 50 megatons, right, of TNT. 50 megatons of TNT of nuclear power, man. Just 1 megaton. A nuclear missile of just 1 megaton burns 4 to 5 times hotter than the sun. And the Tsar Bomba was let off in the 60s, which yielded 50 megatons, right? So I believe they just, with this right here, what they're showing, what's known as the most powerful nuclear missile on the earth, which comes from Russia, I believe they even have more powerful. Russia got something crazy stupid, right?
If that many landed on New York, it would look like this.
It would look worse than that, bro. For real.
In addition to warheads, a substantial weight limit would be set aside for traditional missile defense, overcoming systems such as decoys.
Yeah, you see that?
These are decoys.
So they even got decoy warheads, right? So when the defense missile system trying to intercept these warheads, they're gonna be fake warheads, and then the real ones getting by. Come on, man. The land of unwalled villages.
In addition to warheads, a substantial weight limit would be set aside for traditional missile defense, overcoming systems such as decoys. These are decoys that look like warheads, but carry no nuclear charge. They are needed to fool the missile defense system.
You see?
The missile is able to overcome the missile defense system by giving the engines almost as much power as is needed to put the warhead.
It is able to overcome the defense missile system.
The warheads, but carry no nuclear charge. They are needed to fool the missile defense system. The missile is able to overcome the missile defense system by giving the engines almost as much power as is needed to put the warheads into a circular orbit. The missile can attack the territory of the enemy country not by the shortest, but by any direction, including through the South Pole, bypassing the deployed missile defenses designed for the trajectories of conventional ICBMs launched from Eurasia through the North Pole, which would require the enemy country to costly deploy not fragmentary, but circular missile defense. Russia may have between 60 and 100 silos in which to mount this new missile. This number is enough to wipe out several major European countries.
Woo!
France and the United Kingdom, for example. Sarmat is essentially a revival of the universal missile concept. In other words, any orbital bombardment ICBM can launch not only warheads, but also satellites into orbit. So most likely the decommissioning of the Sarmat ICBM at the end of its service life will be through civilian space launches. The opportunity to recoup the large investment made in silo ICBMs, while also profiting from commercial launches of satellites using end-of-life ICBMs, is very important from an economic point of view and is being seriously considered by the Russian government. Despite the power and strength of this missile, experts at the Pentagon and the UK Ministry of Defense saw no point in further escalating the means of attack or retaliation. Russia and other nuclear powers have had enough resources to turn each other to ashes since the days of nuclear bombers. That is, for over 60 years, said Julian Lewis, chairman of the British Parliament's Defense Committee.
All right, let me rewind that back a little bit.
Large investment made in silo ICBMs, while also profiting from commercial launches of satellites using end-of-life ICBMs, is very important from an economic point of view and is being seriously considered by the Russian government. Despite the power and strength of this missile, experts at the Pentagon and the UK Ministry of Defense saw no point in further escalating the means of attack or retaliation. Russia and other nuclear powers have had enough resources to turn each other to ashes since the days of nuclear bombers.
Woo!
That is, for...
And that's what that's the whole point. And that's why the Lord is bringing all these nations together for this third world war, so they could destroy themselves and turn each other to ashes. This is what the Lord wants. This is what the Lord is doing for the true nation of Israel, which is the Negro, Latino, Native American man. He's bringing all these nations together just so they could destroy themselves. The Lord is avenging us, destroying all these nations for what they did to his chosen people, the Negro, Latino, Native American man. You have touched the apple of the Lord's eye, because all these nations had their hand in the cookie jar when it comes to our oppression, our slavery, our captivity, all throughout the course of history. All these nations had us in captivity, man. All these nations are our enemy, and that's why the Lord is bringing all these nations together to destroy them in this third world war. Because what the Lord is doing is bringing all the so-called power that's on the planet Earth, you know, all the kings and leaders and of the planet Earth, starting with the elites to the lesser luminaries. He's going to bring down all power and all rule, and the Lord is going to set up a new power and a new rule on this planet Earth, man. And that's the kingdom of Israel, starting with Yahweh Shai. All right? You Negroes, you Latinos, and Native Americans, the elect of you, all right, are getting ready to be kings and gods and rulers of this planet Earth, all right, when Yahweh Shai returns, starting with Yahweh Shai, because he's going to rule this. It starts with him, all right? The kingdom that he's going to set upon this earth is his kingdom, the kingdom of Israel, starting with him, Yahweh Shai. And then he's going to share his throne with us, his rulership with us. And we're going to rule with him, the 144,000. You know? The scriptures say, what nation has not gotten of her spoils? So that's why the Lord is bringing all these nations together for this third world war, so they could destroy themselves and turn each other to ashes. The Lord is doing that for us. Right? For everything they had done to us throughout the course of history, man. Because the Lord is getting ready to bring their power down, to bring them down and raise us up. But this time our kingdom and our rulership is going to be forever, starting with Yahweh Shai. Right? And like I said earlier, you know, this same missile that, you know, we just went into in this video, the RS-28 Sarmat, which is also known as Satan 2. All right. Vladimir Putin his intentions is to deploy it for combat duty by the end of 2026. This is how you know, bro, we right here. America's destruction is right here. What the true prophets and the true servants of the Lord have been prophesying is right here. The true prophets and the true servants of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai being the Israelites of great millstone and the ones that teach in like manner. All right. So, Lord willing, this lesson is or was edifying. All right. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Kwikdash Barakatam. All right. So on to the next one. Shalom, shalom. And I also want to say that, you know, when the prophets teach and show you things like this, man, it's to put fear in your heart. Really? Right? It's to put fear in your heart to show you that, you know, you better fear Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. Because this is the Most High that's doing this. This is his show. His doing, man. All right? Zephaniah 3:8. All right? For my determination is to gather the nation and assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them the fire of my jealousy. Roughly paraphrasing that verse. This is the Lord that's bringing this third world war together, bringing all these nations into the valley of Jehoshaphat. You know? So if you believe this, it should put fear in your heart, knowing that Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is getting ready to do this, man. You listen, it's time to come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai before these nuclear missiles fly, man, because you don't want to drown in that nuclear fire. All right? You want the Lord to be your guide, be your shield, be your protection in these last days. You want to be delivered from the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, man. So come back to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Because if you take that mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, you're going to drown in that nuclear fire. All right? That's coming from this missile right here, the RS-28 Sarmat, known as Satan 2. You're going to drown in that nuclear fire, man. Straight up. All right? And Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Ratazah, I am of the elect, man. You know, I get to escape that, man. Get beamed up into the chariots, man. You know? Pray for me as I pray for y'all. All right? So, you know, like I said, call halal yum Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakah Kwikdash. Lord willing, this was edifying. To the next one, shalom, shalom.